going to give you a few glimpses of our drive up I-10. I'll start it in Texas and to show you where we end up in Quartzsite. So, hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thanks for watching.
Ships passing in the night on the stormy sea. You got your navigation lights.
I'm going to give you some glimpses of our drive from Florida to Quartzsite, Arizona. We left January 6th and we arrived in Quartzsite January 12th. So it was quite a long drive, pretty exhausting. And I'm not starting from the beginning because honestly, I didn't save that footage. But here is us leaving Texas. I'll show you a couple of our fuel stops. And honestly, that's what it looked like. Drive a lot, stop for fuel, stop at a rest area, drive a lot, etc. But you'll get a glimpse of what I-10 is like across. And while some of the areas were really cold, we managed to skirt the really cold weather. We did stay Ponce de Leon in Florida, and then the next stop was Lafayette, KOA, which was really, really nice and plenty long enough for us. Nice site. We went into Lafayette. There is a restaurant there that was awesome. It's called Riverfront, a Louisiana restaurant. So I'm not showing you until we left um, Texas, and this was our stop along the way. I gotta admit, this one worried me a little bit. This is Saddle. Hold on a minute. Saddleback RV Park in Balmorea, Texas, and it was $20 for the night. I gotta admit, I was a little concerned, but it said any size rig and full hookups, and we got there and there's no gate. It's an honor system. If you don't book, you just pay at some drop box, they had said. All things that concerned me, but it was the right place along our route. I did warn Vic. Turned out to be fine. Um, I called when I got there and she said, "Oh, just find a site." So we got up early the next morning to head out. I will say there's a lot of people that live there permanent that are working in the area, but for an overnight stop, it was fine. I know there is a state park there too. Um, you know, we've never done that where there's not really a reserved site where you just, you know, you don't really need to reserve. You just drop money and go. But this worked out fine and put us in the right place for the number of hours on the road because we were driving pretty long days, 6, 7 hours, some of them a little more. So we got up early the next morning and tried not to wake everybody up, but it is what it is, and headed out. There is a gas station there. On the website, it said that there's a restaurant. Restaurant's closed. I don't know if it's always closed. I don't know if it's seasonal. I just know when we went through, which was January 10th, I think, 9th or 10th, it was closed. So we got up early the next morning, jumped back on the road, and just kept going heading towards New Mexico. The drive, I will say, from Florida to Texas, pretty easy drive. I mean, other than Houston, we're not going to talk about Houston. It rained the whole time we went through. It not our best day driving. Wasn't any problems. Just busy, busy, busy. We did try to take the loop around Texas. That may have been worse than going straight through. I mean, loop around Houston rather than going through it. Might have been better off just driving through it. Either way, Houston's a nightmare. But other than that, the drive is just straight. No big deal. Lots of blank space. Plan on reading a book or, listen to some music if you're not driving. And I try to, help watch for turns and, direct, but it's a long drive. And we don't normally drive that long. We normally do like 3 hours and then stop 3 or 4 hours and stop for a few days. So this was a long, hard push. So we were very glad to get to Arizona. Here we are, after Balmorea. We head on up. We stopped for fuel at, I think, Van Horn, because we use open roads, so we try to hit where we can get discounts, and just kept on going. With that said, not all rest areas or truck stops are the same, and this one was a smidge tight. It was kind of backed up, so once we pulled in, you couldn't see the other lanes past the truck, and until he pulled up a little bit, we couldn't get around him. Bottom line is, Vic had to get out and walk and look, and then he was able to squeeze past the one guy so we could get in the lane. Once it cleared, we could get in the lane around him, and I cut out all of us just sitting there, and Vic wandering around. But we were probably there, 15 minutes waiting to try to get pulled up. So finally got pulled in, got fuel, and took on off on the road. We also travel with three small dogs that have little bladders, so we have to hit like every rest stop in the country on the way by, because my dogs are little and older, and it is what it is. So we stop. We all need a break at some point, anyway, especially when you're driving that many hours. Kind of nice to stop. So we hit a few of the rest areas. They're not all equal either. Some are nice, some are tight, some are busy, some are not. But all worked out. We got here safe and sound, and no truck issues, no trailer issues, no Jeep issues. All good.
When I go to reach out and to roam, there is no.
And here's one of the rest areas I'm talking about. It was a little tighter than others. And some of them you're kind of more at an angle, which is inconvenient at best. This one we kind of had to back up and get squeezed in behind this semi. It's a little just picnic area, I guess. It was a little tighter than we typically like, and not really a good place to walk the dog. Everything's at a pretty steep angle, but it worked, and then we were on the road again.
For when it's all been said and done, I know how to act when nothing's what it seems. And for a while, all I see is perfect shadows all around. And no, there's no room for one-track minds anymore. I'm reading on the book of my own life, and to a point, the surface is alive. When I feel warm inside my stolen heart, I come to terms with making a new start. For a while, all I see is perfect shadows all around. And no, there's no room for one-track minds anymore. So much for me to do.
And as I said, I have dogs with little bladders, and they're older dogs, so or two of them are, anyways. And so we stop at every rest area. So if you want to know what the next rest area looked like, this is it. As I said, huge difference in rest areas. This one was a little snug too, and pretty busy. So stopped here, took puppies for a walk, and had lunch, and then on the road again.
The night is closing in. I'm bleeding through my skin, but I won't run away this time for sure.
One of the things I never really realized was how busy El Paso, Texas is. I just didn't realize how big of a town it is. And let me just say, El Paso, no joke, is a big town. We went through it and under overpasses and easy driving through it, no problems at all. But it's definitely a lot bigger town than I ever realized. So pretty cool.
All I see is perfect shadows all around. And no, there's no room for one-track minds anymore.
Then just when you think you're outside of El Paso, there's more and more. It's pretty spread out. I don't remember what this section was called, but beautiful area. Definitely a pretty town.
Two ships passing in the night on the stormy sea. You got your navigation lights pointing right at me. From the dead of the night, far away from land. Searching for a harbor or a quiet strand. You could be the anchor that keeps my feet on the ground. And I would be the rock that keeps you from drowning. I'm your
And here's another example of one of the rest areas. We stopped and took a little break and got out because it was a long day we're heading to Lordsburg, New Mexico, to the KOA there. We stayed there several years ago. I can't remember exactly. It seems to me like it was pretty tight, but we'll see when we get there because I can't exactly remember. And I didn't do a video of it, so I don't know. So, but this was a really nice rest area just outside of El Paso, just as we're crossing into New Mexico.
I'm your oar if you need to row. I'm your raft when the river's flowing. I'll follow you wherever you may go. Been breaking through the waves under stormy skies. Been racing with the tides and the hurricane's eye. Been sailing through the light of the northern star. Cause I knew that it would lead me to right where
And if you've driven this way, you know that there is a vehicle inspection station when you cross into New Mexico. So it's mandatory. Everybody has to go through it. So easy. It's easy as they go through. They may stop you and ask a question, or they may just wave you through. We followed the trucks because we weren't sure if which. There's not really a clear point of which one you follow. Do you follow the cars or do you follow the trucks? So because we're big, we followed the trucks and figured if they yelled at us, we'd know next time. But this was the inspection thing. Easy. They just kind of waved us on through.
I'm your sail when the wind is blowing. I'm your oar if you need to row. I'm your raft when the river
after that, we just headed back on and onto Lordsburg, New Mexico.
If you need to row, I'm your raft when the river's flowing. I'll follow you wherever you may go. I'll follow you wherever you may go. Two ships passing in the night on the stormy sea.
As I said, we had stayed here one time before, but we couldn't really remember what it was like. It's a little out of the way kind of to get to. I mean, it's right off the interstate, but you kind of go down a back road. We remembered it as soon as we turned. We remembered doing this. Not hard to get in. We fit easily, and we're pretty big, and no problem getting to it. Just look for the signs. Well, I said it. You kind of when you come up here and you turn to the right, you look at it and you go, okay, I don't see anything. So, pull on around. Nice RV park. It was not busy at all. Probably the time of year, January. It's a bit cold. There wasn't anyone there at the front office when we got there, but there was a note on the door that said going to lunch. And it was before 2 o'clock when we got there, and we had got an early start because we wanted to get there and get settled and have time to relax. But they had a paper with our name and what site, so we just kind of boogied on to the site. There's a map there on their door, so we figured out where it was, pulled in, and rested for the night. Really nice RV park. Like I said, we're a little long. I think their site said max 70 foot, but I had called and I also put it whenever I reserve with KOA. You can put a note, and I always put a note of how long we actually are, and that we're towing a flatbed trailer so that everybody knows. But there's a couple people there that seem to work in the area. Nice people, no problem staying here at all. Was a nice overnight, nice chance for us to relax a little before the next day's hard push. So, nice RV park. I will say, had it been really packed, it would have been a little harder for us to get in. As it wasn't a problem. So the next morning, we got up bright and early, pre sunrise, and headed out to try to get there early. We like to get to a site early in the day so we have time to set everything up and get situated. So that was our plan. So next stop, Quartzsite.
written down the words to say. It is time. I've been waiting 5 days to explain how you make me feel inside. Baby, got it all figured out. Wanna do this right. There's no doubt in my mind, baby, you're the one. And tonight I am going all the way. The way you touch my hand, it all goes away. The things I planned, the things I would say, now I keep rambling on. I sound so cliche. What I am trying to do is say I love you. Ooh, 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 and all the things that you do. Ooh, ooh, sounds like a fool, 'cause when you touch my hand, the words goes away. What I am trying to do is say I love you. You don't know how I shiver inside. Doesn't show, but my nerves are inside out. It's because you're not worth less than perfection. Ooh, thought it was in my hands, now I'm all confused. Turning gold into sand, don't know what you do to me. All I know is you can take my breath away. Yeah, 'cause when you touch my hand, it all goes away. The things I planned, the things I would say, now I keep rambling on. I sound so cliche. What I am trying to do is say I love you. Ooh, 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 and all the things that you do. Ooh, ooh, sounds like a fool, 'cause when you touch my hand, the words goes away. What I am trying to do is let you know that when you touch my hand, it all just goes away. The things I plan to say, oh baby, what I am trying to do is let you know that when you touch my hand, it all goes away. The things I plan, the things I would say, now I keep rambling on. I sound so cliche. What I am trying to do is say I love you. And all the things that you do. I'm so in love with you. Ooh, ooh, it sounds so stupid now. What I am trying to do, what I am trying to do, what I am trying to do is say I love you.
I wanna take you out, show you the time of your life.
We stopped for fuel before we got into Phoenix to avoid the rush, so we'd have a pretty full tank. Because we didn't want to fuel up in Quartzsite. We knew it would be more expensive. We do top it off in Quartzsite, and we stop one more time before we get there. But we wanted to get the cheapest fuel that we could, so we stopped and filled up with fuel, and then headed on through Phoenix, which was not hard to get around. We did take the bypass around Phoenix, which is what Garmin and Google recommended, and it was a easy drive around Phoenix. We have been to Phoenix, so we know driving through it is challenging at best, but driving around it was no big deal. Taking the bypass loop around it, getting by Phoenix, which is a big town, was no big deal. Easy drive. But we stopped at this fuel just to get as much fuel as we could.
What it takes to give you everything you desire. I wanna lay beneath the stars with you in the back of my truck. I guess that this is what they call love. Baby, you've been driving me crazy for so long now. I've been waiting on the sidelines, praying for the right time to let you know you're all I ever wanted and more. something and stay in. Put a record on, let's hide the phones and make believe the world don't exist. Let's pull up ties and take a trip to someplace new. Don't care where, as long as I have you. Baby, you've been driving me crazy for so long now. My love for you is insane, but I wouldn't change a thing unless you wanted me to. I'd do anything for you. Waking up next to you is all I ever want to do. Baby, we can last forever. Baby, you've been driving me crazy for so long now. And my love for you is insane, but I wouldn't change a thing unless you wanted me to. I'd do anything. Baby, you've been driving me crazy for so long now. My love for you is insane, but I
And this is just a little bit of the drive around Phoenix. Like I said, really easy, no problems getting around it before we get on the final leg of the trip to get to Quartzsite.
wanted me to. I'd do anything for you. Wouldn't lie to you, doesn't matter what I do. She's got a hold on me. She knows how to drive a truck, but she lets me pick her up when we're going dancing. My heart stops beating when my headlights shining on her. She's my country girl. I couldn't tell you what she's doing with me. She's so damn out of my league. She's a little bit crazy on the weekends, dancing in her.
Here we're finally outside of Phoenix, and we're on the last leg of the trip, getting on the road that heads to Quartzsite. The road's not bad. It does have a few little moments where it's not as good as others, but looks like they've done a lot of work on it, and it's a pretty good road. So easy drive there. We do stop at one last rest area to let the puppies out, so they're not so rushed when we get to the site, and they're not struggling. So we stop, take one last break before we get another 30 minutes down the road, 45 minutes to get to 30 or 45 minutes to get to the camp.
And I'm feeling like midnight's getting closer, and I just wanna hold her in my arms till the sun comes up. She's a little bit country. Yeah, she's my country girl.
And as you can see, we were not the only ones that stopped here. This is a pretty busy rest area. There is another one on down the road. But yeah, this one was pretty busy, but they had sites, and we were able to go in and stop and give the puppies a little break before we headed home.
Yeah, she's my country girl. She can let her hair down, but got her feet on the ground. I can't get enough of her. She can drive me so wild, just with that sweet smile, and there's nobody else for me. My heart starts racing every time I'm looking at her. She's my country girl. I couldn't tell you what She's a little bit crazy on the weekends, dancing in her red dress, and I love the way she looks in my eyes. And I'm feeling like midnight's getting closer, and I just wanna hold her in my arms till the sun comes up. She's a little bit country, yeah, she's my country girl. She's a little bit country, yeah, she's my country girl. Guitar. Yeah. All right. Wouldn't lie to you. Doesn't matter what I do. She's got a hold on me. Ha. She's a little bit crazy.
And on this road, before you get to Quartzsite, there is another gas station. I think it's a Pilot. And then when you get into Quartzsite, there is a Pilot and a Love's and a couple other smaller gas stations. So we used the open roads. We wanted to top off so we had a full tank when we stopped, just in case for whatever reason we needed to use the generator. We are staying in a campground. We're staying at Quail Run RV Park, full hookups, and turns out it's a really nice RV park. So we're glad we stayed here. But we are going to go through Love's and top off before we go there. So this is the road to turn into Quartzsite. If we'd have just went to the right, I think it would have taken us onto our campsite somewhere's in here. But we're going to go over and go down the road and go to Love's. And then we'll come back to our campsite.
And I love the way she looks in my eyes. And I'm feeling like midnight's getting closer, and I just wanna hold her in my arms till the sun comes up. She's a little bit country, yeah, she's my country.
And just keep in mind, if you're pulling into Quartzsite during or near the time of the show, whenever everybody's there, it's going to be a busier. It's going to be a busier truck stop. So many people, trucks and RVers pulling in to get fuel. We didn't really have to wait that long. Vic did wind up moving over because the other people kind of moved so he could get in a little quicker. We really weren't there that long, but we had probably 3/4 of a tank. We were just topping off. So weren't there that long and then headed on to our site.
Yeah, she's my country
And this will give you a little bit of an idea of what the road is like in Quartzsite. Easy to get around, no problems. We pulled them up and went back to the down. This is kind of the back side of the tents. Tents would be off to the right, the big tent to the right, and a lot of the boondocking, La Posa West, La Posa North. It's all off on down the road to the right. This is the back of where the vendors are. A lot of the vendors you can see are already set up and working. And I'll show you a little more of that in another video. As you can see, Quail Run is not far, and this is a beautiful campground. Highly recommend it. It does book out for the RV show and for the month, and so if you want to go, you have to book like the January before. But beautiful RV park. We had a little mix up with our reservations. They didn't think we were supposed to get here till like Tuesday, and I thought we were supposed to be here on Sunday. But they had a temporary site that they were able to put us in while we figured out. They had temporary one open so they could let us stay there for one night, and then moved us to ours. To the right, about three down, is where we will be. But temporarily, they move us up by the campsite just so we can have a good night's rest. And then the next morning, we move over, get propane because they do have propane here, and move to our site. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Like I like to say, this may not be the right way or the wrong way, but it is a way to travel. So we'll see you down the road.